Hey everybody, we're hanging out with Ryan Newman in the motor coach lot at Michigan International Speedway. Now Ryan, you come into Michigan on the playoff bubble, you're tied with Jimmy Johnson right now. But Michigan might be a welcome sight for you because you finished 8th here in June. What are your thoughts on the weekend?
Yeah, we struggled last time here with just raw speed, and it seems like we're struggling a little bit again with raw speed. But had a couple good restarts at the end of the first race here and was able to work our way forward, and really didn't have that good a race car. So in the end, we've got to keep our wits about ourselves and stay focused and do our job, and know that there's a whole bunch of racing left, and we've got to figure out a way to get ourselves to be more competitive, to be in victory lane, and prove that we're not just playoff but championship contenders.
Well, you bring up a good point because it seems like that's been the name of the game for you, how like you haven't started out the race as well as you'd like, but then by the end of the race, you're getting a top 10 out of it. What's the key to doing that?
Not quitting, because it's easy to quit when you qualify 25th. When you're wide open and you qualify 25th, it says that you don't have speed in your race car. So not quitting is probably the biggest thing, and just continuing to work on what we can do to be better. Maybe it's a little balance, a little bit of grip, a little bit of adjustments, strategy. Scott Graves is, along with the engineers, have done a good job with strategy. The pit crew's never flawless, but doing a much better job than I've ever been used to. And even when they have a bad day, it's still netting us good results. Everybody has to do their job, and you get that over time, and you get that by not making mistakes. And collectively, by the end of the race, we've been better than how we start the race.
So your teammate Ricky Stenhouse Jr., your first year with him, I asked him back in March at Auto Club about what's it like having you as a teammate, and he said one thing that he respects you and the fact that he strives to be like you, because the reason why you're hard to pass on the racetrack, like some would say, is because you don't make mistakes, and he wants to be more like that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it's good not to make mistakes especially when you're 200 miles an hour, but it's good to not make mistakes, and it's good to be hard to pass. But it's even better to have a car that makes it so nobody wants to pass you or nobody can pass you. So that's what we're striving for.
So as a veteran of the sport and coming to, like you said, a new team, it's all fresh for you, is that something that's more difficult, or is it easier because it's nice to have a fresh start?
Well, I made the change to have a fresh start because I was not happy where I was, and I don't know that anybody RCR was to have one win over 5 years. I don't feel like we were striving to be better, and we weren't. So I felt like it was a great opportunity to join back up with the Ford Motor Company and Jack Roush and the Roush Yates engine program, which has been stout, and try to make some improvements on the 6 car. And then I've enjoyed having Ricky as a teammate. To go back to your last question, I think he's a lot like me as far as the way we drive the race cars, try to get everything we can out of it. Very outspoken, I guess, about what we need to be better, and you have to be. You can't sugarcoat that.
So with 4 races to go in the regular season starting here in Michigan, what's a track or a couple tracks you have circled where you really feel like you can gain some points and get above that cut line?
Before practice, I would have said all of them. Michigan's been a little bit of a struggle here just after our first practice session, but really all of them. It's not about how good you do sometimes, it's about how bad other people do. We missed an opportunity last week at Watkins Glen for that. We had our own problems, well, other guys had problems too, but if I thought that I wasn't capable of winning at each racetrack I go to, I wouldn't show up.
Well, Ryan Newman's going to see if he can get above the cut line this weekend at Michigan on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on NBCSN.